from 9 to 11 Pacific.
Get exclusive interviews from your favorite artists, all the hottest music, and updates on what we got going on in the world.
That's every Wednesday, 9 to 11 p.m. on Seattle's Rainier Avenue Radio. Do you have an idea for a community project in your neighborhood? You could be eligible for up to $50,000 in funding through the City of Seattle's Neighborhood Matching Fund. Grants are awarded to grassroots projects that build stronger communities, with an emphasis on projects led by impacting Black, Indigenous, and people of color BIPOC communities. To learn more about the Neighborhood Matching Fund or to see if your project meets the criteria, visit seattle.gov/neighborhoods/NMF. Here with the Rainier Avenue Radio Traffic Update. You can listen to us in your car 24/7 anytime by downloading the free TuneIn app. Once you do, search Rainier Avenue Radio. And remember, do not curse out your fellow drivers. This has been your Rainier Avenue Radio Traffic Update.
Hello. Uh-oh. Hello. Tina? Hi. I guess we're live. I don't see Tina on the show. I'm Violeta Strash with Coldwell Banker Danforth. And today, when Tina comes on board, we're going to talk about the end of a very important month for especially us, the Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month, which is May 1st through the 31st. There's been a lot of events going on this month, and there's a number of things that Tina has for you, but we want to just pay tribute to the generations of people in my country, the Philippines, the Pacific Islanders, and all the people that have made contributions to this country, has enriched our history, and have continued to pave the way for the future of our kids and generations ahead of us. Is Tina on the air? Is she backstage, Daniel? I don't see. Oh, I hear her. Tina, are you there? Tina. Anyway, she has a new name for her company. Bank of England has just had a name change, and they still continue to provide all the services that you have been familiar with, that Tina has brought to the forefront with her on the show. And I still don't see Daniel. There. I don't hear you, Tina. No. Hello. Hello, hello. Oh my goodness. Who's muted? Am I muted? Is she muted? Who? Tina, I can't hear her. Yeah, I can't hear her. she gonna have to talk on her phone? Sorry, folks. Again, I'm Violeta Strash with Coldwell Banker Danforth, and we are here live today on Real Estate and Money, broadcasting from Rainier Avenue Radio World. We have a technical difficulty going on, and I don't know what to do. Daniel, help. I believe that because she had all these computer changes when the name change happened, there have been computer issues. Are you there? Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, here we go. Thank you. We are live.
We are live now.
Thank you for your patience.
Yes.
Patience. But just like Violeta said, we are celebrating the Asia Pacific Islanders Heritage Month. Yay.
Yay.
The whole month. Okay. Yeah, and I got my background here, all the different colors, Korea, Vietnam, Philippines. You know,
I'm still at home.
You're still home? Okay. Okay. Yes. Yeah. So, so we're really excited. What we're going to talk to you today about is Asia Pacific Heritage Month. We're going to talk about the home buying and the real estate side of that market and side of that world. But, you know, of course, Violeta is Pacific Islander. I am Pacific Islander, half Filipino. And, you know, there's a way in which we buy homes. There's a cultural divide of where we buy homes, how we get approved, and what we look for. And so, Violeta, did you know that the Asian American is the fastest growing home ownership segment of the market in the U.S.?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely, yes.
Yes. So right now, about 63% of all Asian households actually own homes. And that's very, very remarkable. And we're still climbing. And so we're looking forward to telling you how you should buy a home, what to look for, and if you want to be part of that population there. So Violeta, let's just talk a little bit about us. How many homes have you owned as a Pacific Islander? How many homes have you owned?
I believe 4.
4. Yes. Yes.
I mean, me, myself, my husband.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So does it ever occur? I mean, when did you first decide, hey, I want to buy a home? I have to buy a home.
When we got married.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay.
And, you know, and usually what happens is that, you know, you're graduating from school and your parents are willing to help, right?
Yes.
I don't know about you, but my parents say, what do you need? A lot of parents will say, let me help you with the down payment on your first home.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Our second home, we stayed with our in-laws while our second home was being built.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's just,
I mean, why
they're very generous and always willing to help out.
Well, why do you think your parents wanted to help out with you buying a home? Why was it so important for your family?
Well, when they were in the Philippines, my folks, my dad in particular, had a very rich life. Mm-hmm. And they want to make sure when they get here to this country that they provide for their families too, and make sure that everyone is healthy and happy in their space at home. And, you know, then they're going to bring over the grandparents or their siblings, my aunts and uncles, and make sure everyone has space and, you know, be successful here in the States. So that was important for them, for my dad in particular, to get here to the United States. Mm-hmm. And have a place where we can congregate and be in a community. That was the mm-hmm. other important thing for especially my mom, is to be in an area of the new country, new city, and make sure that there are other Filipinos nearby mm-hmm. that they can commiserate with or mm-hmm. enjoy festivities with, holidays together. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be relatives, but it's important to be with those in the same culture, ethnicity as you.
That's right. That's right. Well, for me, it was a little different. You know, after I decided I was going to get married and I moved out, I lived in a really nice apartment with a swimming pool, hot tub, you know, all the amenities, you know, of a young couple. My mother was just relentless. She's like, no, you're buying a house. You're buying a house. I'm like, I'm not going to buy a house. I want to buy a car and everything else. But after we got married, she just hounded on me. And she had a friend who actually did HUD homes. And we found a house that was, you know, repossessed by the government. And so it was something like, it was worth $85,000 and we got it for like $62,000.
Wow.
And my mother's like, here, I'll throw money at you. Now, this mother never bought me clothes. She didn't buy me candy bars. She didn't buy me records. She didn't buy me anything, right? But when it came down to my house, she's like, here's $20,000. Go put it down. And I'm like, okay, whatever. And so, of course, I paid her back. The equity in the house went up really crazy. But she really impressed upon me the importance of buying a house. And there was, of course, the American dream. You're not going to really build a lot of equity. If you're not like born with money, a good way to get money is through buying a house. So she was very adamant about me buying a house. And all my sisters bought a house instantly. As soon as we got out of the house, my mother was like, you need to buy a home. And, we had the tax benefits. Of course, I was making really good money when I just got out of college. I had no tax benefits until I bought a house. And then I had kids and I got even more tax benefits. But it's also part of buying the American dream. And, Violeta, I have a lot of clients who came from the Philippines. And a lot of them have land in the Philippines. It's part of us to own the land in which we live. So, it's part of the dream. So a lot of times, not just the Filipinos, but when Asians do come over here to the U.S., it's very, very important for them to get the American dream by owning land and also for having the tax write-offs and having the benefits of a sanctuary and, having a place, like you said, with community, with home. So it's very, very important. So I've got one of these websites I'd like to look at. And if you can, Daniel, the first one that I sent you, can you pull that up really quick? Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about the profile of the Asian American home buyer. And if you see here, now if you go down, it says 63% of Asian American households now own homes. So thank you. Go ahead and keep scrolling there really quick, Daniel, which is very exciting. That's on, and you can keep going down. It's very exciting because this is the truth. You have to go past that. There you go. Does it keep going on? Let's keep going. Well, let's keep going. Okay, let's stop right there. You see, if you go back up to Biden. Okay, the federal government has actually acknowledged the fact that the Asian Americans actually have been buying homes. Okay, it says here the campaign released a new ad targeting Asian American Pacific Islanders. So we can go ahead and take that down really quick, Daniel. But what you can see is that 63% of our population is actually buying homes. And that's very exciting. It's saying that we're making it a priority, an intentional priority to actually buy homes. And we're able to get the lending, we're able to get the financing, we're able to get the real estate agents that are out there representing us. So that second link that I sent you is actually, if you can pull that up, Daniel, that is the Asian Pacific Islanders, or actually the Asian Real Estate Association. This is their Asian American home buying PDF that they put out every single year. Now, if you can scroll down to page 5 really quick on that, Daniel, it shows you where the Asian Americans are actually buying. There you go, right there. If you see in California, there's a whopping 7,320,000 people that are of Asian in that particular state alone. If you go down to New York, there's 2 million. And then in Texas, there's over 2 million. Washington State is actually 1.6 million. If you go down, I don't know if Colorado's even on here, but Colorado is not really a big Asian population place. But these are kind of where the Asian Americans are starting to move. You see Florida, we've got almost 900,000 Asians there. Minnesota is like 368. And number 20 is Oregon with 318,000 Asian Americans. So there's a reason why.
It's closer to the Philippines and Asia to travel from that way to over here quickly. Like the Russians too come across waters to this part of the country. So I see where, there's a huge amount of Hawaiians in Alaska and Western United States where Asian and Pacific Islanders have colonized.
Yes, exactly. And if you look at the top right there, I don't know if you can see it, but it says the top 4 states with positive net migration. In the West, you've got Washington State, 43.6 thousand, Nevada, 15.4 thousand, Colorado up there, 9.3 thousand, and Arizona, 4.4 thousand. So you see there's active migration in those states right there. And that's in the West. But what you're seeing is people are actually moving. Now, if you go down to the bottom, that bottom corner there, it says top 5 states with positive net migration in the South is Maryland, Texas, Virginia, Louisiana, and North Carolina. And like Violeta said, you're saying how, it is closer to the Philippines on the West Coast. And if you remember in our historical shows that, Mission Bay in San Diego was one port in which the Filipinos actually, stopped and migrated. And that's where they first set foot in the United States. And you've got over 7 million Asians there. There is a community in Southern California that is unlike any other place in the U.S. There's places where you can actually speak Tagalog all your life and never have to speak English in parts of Southern California, like in L.A. or San Francisco, or even in San Diego. So I mean, there's reasons. Not only is it just that they're closer to the Philippines or closer to Asia, is because there is a network of community in those places, and people love to live there. They can buy their food, they can buy the groceries, they can have their churches, they can have their community. They don't have to search far to be part of their own home. And same with Washington State. Colorado's starting to get that way. Las Vegas. I can't tell you how many of my friends have retired and went to Las Vegas. Yeah. I can't tell you how many priests I've helped get homes in Las Vegas. There are so many reasons like people of Asian descent are moving to California, moving to Nevada. So, it's not just certain areas. Before in the 70s and the 60s, it was Washington State, it was Alaska, it was Hawaii, it was San Diego, it was LA. And that's great. But now you move forward and you see some of these states here where they've got large populations, like Massachusetts, there's 600,000. Florida, there's 2 million. Now, our second, third, and fourth generations, they're migrating because of education and because of jobs. So you've got the MITs, the Harvards, you've got all these different places on the West Coast where education is. And so a lot of Asian Pacific Islanders are moving to those places for education.
And then they tend to stay in that part of the country to get their jobs after college.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
There's a big draw for the Ivy League schools, and especially for the Asians, the technical colleges and stuff, and scientific institutions like North Carolina. It's a research triangle, so a lot of scientists and medical, all that stuff is happening there. That's where my son Nicholas was at Duke University. So yeah.
So so one of the things we want to think about, like she was saying, her son's going to Duke, is graduating from Duke University. Okay, this isn't San Diego or Washington State. This is East Coast. So what do you do if you do want to find a person, let's say a person of Asian descent that wants to help you buy a home or what have you? So there's advantages for somebody to find a realtor that is of their culture, that does speak their language. So I'm going to go ahead and I have one more link there, Daniel, that if you can pull that up. It's the Asian Real Estate Association of America. And I was the president. I had the privilege of being the president here in Greater Denver, 2021. No, that was 2020. Yeah, 2021. That's when it was. But 21 to 22. But the Asian Real Estate Association is a good place for people who's looking for somebody that speaks their language. We speak over 26 languages in the Asian Real Estate Association. There are over 51 ethnicities within the Asian population in which is represented with the Asian Real Estate Association. So if you are somebody who's Vietnamese, you're from Nepal, or from Samoa or somewhere, and you just don't know who to reach out to, and you do want to have a realtor or find a realtor that speaks your language, the Asian Real Estate Association of America is a good place to start. They can actually find somebody in your area, whether it's Texas or Florida, Maryland, New York, Chicago. They can find somebody in your area that actually speaks your language or your native tongue. So
is it the East Indian culture? Is that considered Asian?
Absolutely. Right? 1,000%. So, even Lebanese is considered Asian. So all of India, we have a lot of people within our organization who represent parts of India, but yes, are all part of the Asian Real Estate Association. And one of the reasons why this was formed was, in San Francisco in the 70s and the 80s, discrimination was still very rampant in San Francisco. So the Asian Real Estate Association started there and started spreading out. And there's now over 141 chapters, and they all speak various languages. There's anywhere from 30 to 150 people within each chapter. So that's a good place to look when it comes to buying real estate or even commercial property. So, and really quick, V, I've got clients who are Asian, and, we don't fit the box in which most mortgage lenders lend within. Sometimes we'll have mother, sister. We'll have sister. We'll have brother and sister and cousin, whatever. They'll have 5 different people on the application, because they want to buy one house. They all live with each other. A lot of lenders who are not race sensitive will say, well, how can you have 3 people on the loan? They'll say, well, what do you need 6 bedrooms for? What do you need this for? What do you need that for? So a lot of times there's not intended discrimination, but sometimes it's innocent discrimination, and they don't know exactly what we need. They don't understand. I have people who are nurses, and they have a daycare, and they run a janitorial. They've got 3 jobs. Mm-hmm. A lot of my Asian clients, they own a business, they work W-2, and they're getting some type of pension or something. But usually there's 3 sources of income. I don't care what they do. They always have a side gig or they have another business. So a lot of times, when you do go in to look for a loan, make sure you don't just say, hey, I work for Boeing. If you have another job or something else like that, make sure you show all of your income. So V, this, you've got a lot of clients. They don't just have one job. A lot within the Asian community have like 3 jobs. I think I had 4. Yeah. They have all these
million people living in their 3-bedroom home.
Yeah. And it's not unnormal for you'll have a father and a mother, and they'll have their adult kid and their adult their daughter-in-law, son. They'll all live in the same house. They'll all get on the loan. A lot of times people are not as they're not as user friendly. Sometimes lenders are not user friendly, and they don't understand you got 4 people on this loan. They don't get it. And you can have 15 people on a loan if you want. If there's 5 people and they all want to buy a mansion, a $2.5 million mansion, there's 5 of them that live in that house. Yeah. Go ahead and have them apply for a loan. A lot of times you have some lenders who say, okay, there's a husband, there's a wife, there's a husband and there's a daughter. There's something, but they don't understand when you have 5 people on the loan. A lot of times you'll have somebody here, they work for Boeing or they work for the hospital, and they have a traveling spouse. They have a spouse coming from the Philippines or Vietnam or from Korea. And they come over here and people say, well, are they legal and blah, 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 blah. You can do a loan. If you're not a U.S. citizen, you can still be part of the loan package. V, I have a lot of people. I did a lot for the leaders at H Mart down in Federal Way. I did a lot of the loans there for the leaders or the managers of those departments. A lot of them had a lot of money that they had in Korea, and they came over here. And a lot of times, like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, sometimes they will translate the statements from Korean into American. And a lot of times, if you do get a client, or if you are a client who is moving, you have money coming from the Philippines, from Japan, from Korea, your loan officer should be able to get transcripts of your bank statements. So a lot of times, if you get somebody who says, I just came here from Korea, I just came here from Japan, a lot of times they got much more money than the average, loan applicant that came off the street. So if you do have different assets in the Philippines, if you have them in Japan, if you have them in China or Korea, we can still use that on your loan application.
But remind people, how long would it take for funds to be transferred here, and you can't really touch that money to buy a house, for example? If it's a lot of money, that doesn't have to sit in an account for a certain amount of time?
No, that's a very good question. If he's talking about sourcing, some people's talking about, like, if you have a down payment on a home, we need to source those funds for at least 60 days. It needs to be in your account anywhere from 30 days to 60 days. And that is a very good question, V, because there's some people who are coming from the Philippines or Korea or England or Mexico or Canada, and they've had $150,000 in their bank account for like 16 years. If you had money somewhere, then that is a source of seasoning. We don't just say, hey, it's got to be an American account. We just look wherever your source is. V, I've got people from England. I've got people from France right now that I'm doing a loan for, and they've got money in their account for years. But as long as it's in a bank account, it doesn't have to necessarily be a U.S. bank account. And a lot of times it's wire transfer. Wire transfers now are very speedily. So, if we get a wire transfer, if you've got $60,000 sitting in an account in Japan or something like that, get it over here. And V, if we do have somebody, and I get this a lot, there's somebody in the Philippines, somebody in China, somewhere in Vietnam, and they have to sign some type of document, like a power of attorney or something. A lot of times we'll have them go to the embassy, or we'll actually send the loan papers to the embassy. And we'll get them signed, and we'll have them documented, notarized, and sent back to the embassy. So just because you're from a different country or what have you, and you've got business in Korea, China, Japan, and you want to buy property here, we can still do that. I do have a lot of people from Korea and from China who are in Vancouver, BC, and India. They're in Vancouver, BC, and they're buying property in Seattle. And they don't have a lot, they're not a U.S. citizen or anything like that. Maybe they have an adult kid that lives here, or maybe they just have business here. But if you're Asian and you're in British Columbia and you want to buy property in Washington State or California, You can do that. You don't have to be, you can be a foreign national. You don't have to be a U.S. citizen. Yeah. So yeah, I've got people who've got like investment properties in British Columbia, and they buy properties in LA, and they buy properties in Seattle, Des Moines, further away. Yeah. So, please make sure your mind is open and find a good loan officer that can go ahead and give you lending no matter where you want to buy and no matter what country you're from.
There you go.
Yes, yes. So now, do we have some announcements?
I don't know what, Dan, do you have anything?
Yes, let me see. Announcements for tomorrow. Tune in at 6 p.m. to Rainier Avenue Radio live broadcast of the Chinatown and International District Light Rail Town Hall and panel from the Columbia City Theater, airing in celebration of Asian American Pacific Islanders Month. So thank you. Make sure you tune into this. To Columbia City, they got some exciting things happening. That's May 29th, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Columbia City Center, and also the AAPI month on Rainier Avenue Radio. The CID Light Rail Town Hall and panel meeting. Make sure that you don't miss that, okay? Very important, very important. So, yes. So, V, so you,
how much time do we have? I don't even see the clock here.
I think we have like maybe 1 or 2 minutes.
Okay.
But in celebration of Asian Pacific Islander Month, get out there. What can you do to celebrate? Get out there. If there's some Asian-owned businesses, go ahead and make sure you make an effort to use them this month. Restaurants, go out there. Bakeries, go out there and use them.
Yeah, it's all about food, man. Food.
Realtors, I'm telling you, you've got realtors, lenders.
Find some good hollow. That would be fun.
And you know what? Just for yourself too. If you've got family members coming from the Philippines, you've got kids that have not bought a home. They don't see the importance of it. Reach out to us, and we can educate them on the benefits of buying a home. We're here to help you. We're not here just to do loans or sell homes. We're here for educational purposes too. So let us know what we can do to help.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So does that wrap it up for us today?
That wraps it up for us today. Okay, but thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you once again next week, Tuesday in Seattle, 3:30 to 2:30.
2:30.
And in Colorado, it's from 3:30 to 4.
All right. So I'm Violeta Strash with Coldwell Banker Danforth.
Yes, and I'm Tina Lombard with Novus Home Mortgage. We'll see you next time.
Thank you all for joining us today. Bye-bye.